How's everyone doing? Sandman here. One of the main questions that I get asked by people is, how did I start playing the drums? And it's not your conventional story that you'll hear a lot of people say, where their family was massive into music and they was raised on music pretty much and it just kind of happened for them. My story was a little bit different. I got into music pretty late. I think I must have been about 15, 16, 17, which when you consider a lot of people start music very early in their life, starting at that age was quite late. As a kid, I was into video games and stuff. Music, didn't think about it at all. Maybe there was little signs. I used to play Guitar Hero and I had Guitar Hero World Tour and I had the full band set, and I always liked playing the drums, the Guitar Hero drums on it. But other than stuff like that, it was nothing that really stuck, or I never had that experience and then thought, you know what, I'd love to go play the actual drums. It was just a video game to me. First bit of music that ever really got me and I thought, you know what, I really like this, was when my friend asked me if I wanted to go out for a Chinese. So his dad picked me up with him and his brother in the car, and playing in the car was 30 Seconds to Mars, and it was the Love, Lust, Faith and Dreams album, and I think specifically it was the song Up in the Air, and I just really loved that song. And so I said to him, I said, oh, what's this? This is really good. And he said, oh, it's 30 Seconds to Mars. And my friend at the time as well, he was massive into the metal and rock stuff like that, but it never really interested me. I remember sometimes he'd play Slipknot songs and stuff, but I thought, oh, I'm not listening to this. I don't want anything to do with this. I started listening to 30 Seconds to Mars, and from there he was kind of feeding me these different bands and trying to get me into different things. So from there I got into Avenged Sevenfold, and he started putting me onto the lighter side of Slipknot. Think of songs like Before I Forget and Duality, the songs where it's not out and out, just it's a bit more digestible for a new listener to get into them songs and to get into the band from them songs. You know, I started enjoying it. I started to get the music, and I specifically loved the drums on it being Joey Jordison. There was a specific video that I watched that made me go out and buy my drum kit, which was the video of Slipknot live. I believe it was at the O2 in London, and it was just a camera on Joey Jordison playing Disaster Piece, and I watched that video on repeat so many times, and I was just mesmerised by it. I just thought, this guy is so good and amazing, and that was when it struck me, and I thought, you know what, I'd love to do something like that. It was the first time that music really connected to me, in the point where I wasn't just doing it like for a bit of fun on a video game or something. This was actually something that I thought, you know what, this could be my thing. This is what I want to do. It was my birthday about 3 weeks later, and I decided that I was going to use all of my birthday money to go and buy a drum kit. So I went down to a place called Drum City, which I don't think is open anymore, and I spent all of my money getting my first drum kit. I think my parents thought it was going to be just a fad at the time, you know, when kids pick stuff up and then they lose interest in it, and they pick something else up and they lose interest in that. But you know what, coming up to 12 years in September it would have been since I picked up drumsticks for the first time and got my first drum kit. And yeah, it's pretty crazy how just that series of events, from me listening to a song in the car to then watching a drummer play a song, led to all this. Because from starting with the drums, I then wanted to go on guitar, then I started doing the vocals and producing and stuff like that, and music now, it's, you know, it's my thing. So it's pretty crazy to see the chain of events, how it all unfolded. That's the story of how I came into music and how I ended up coming across my first drum kit. If you want to watch an extended video when I go more into depth about what I done after getting my first drum kit, you know, started dabbling in the guitar and started doing the solo stuff and more, there's a video up on my main channel which will go more into the entire journey. This is just really focused on the drumming aspect. Appreciate you all for watching. See you later.